Good evening all. It's been a couple of days since my last video. With no surprise for you to find out that that's been done obviously because of the Manchester atrocity. We suspended campaigning for a couple of days as a mark of respect. My best wishes go to all those who are recovering from their injuries. I wish them well. I hope you get better soon. And also, can I say, well done to the people of Manchester, the way that you've rallied round those victims. Some of the videos have been extremely touching. The homeless man in Manchester who rushed in to help, the Sikh community, the stuff they've done has been fantastic. They're such a great credit to our society and an absolute model of integration and working together with the rest of us. I just think that has been absolutely marvellous, and it shows that that we can all work together as one. But today, the reason I'm running my video tonight is because today has seen the launch of the UKIP manifesto. Now, I've got to admit, that manifesto, I was expecting it to be good, but it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and credit to the policy team who put that together, and Suzanne Evans who has overseen the project. It's balanced, it works. It addresses a lot of the problems in our society, and that's one of the reasons why I got so upset today watching the launch, because the mainstream media, rather than asking questions about the manifesto, just launched into an attack on UKIP. I just can't get my head round some of it, really. I mean, Michael Crick, first question: are you taking advantage of the Manchester attack? I'm sorry, hang your head in shame. That is not journalism. We have shown our respect, and we're also doing, funnily enough, what everybody in the mainstream media is saying, which is don't let these people get in the way of our society. Don't let them interfere with your everyday lives. We've shown the respect, and now what we're doing is we're honouring those people by carrying on with the democratic process, getting back out there and showing them that they shall not win. And some of the other journalists turning around and saying that we had changed our manifesto after the attack. That manifesto was actually printed at the weekend, guys. We're the only party who have been addressing these issues of Islamist terrorism. We've done it regularly, we've done it consistently, and you have thrown so much abuse at UKIP, calling us all sorts of names, because we are the only party that will actually try and make a difference. So let's look at what's been said today, shall we? I mean, Theresa May, that's being spun. Nobody's suggesting she's got blood on her hands. Nobody is suggesting that Theresa May has anything to do with this at all. What we are saying is that under her government, our security forces have been consistently run down. Police morale has been crushed. Police numbers have been dropped. Uncontrolled migrations continued. The prison service has been cut, while it's well known that Islamist extremists who have been banged up in our prisons are actually radicalising other people inside there. And just as they're doing that, the numbers are being cut, so we can't keep an eye on it properly, and more people are coming out radicalised. That's not scapegoating anybody, that is actually stating a fact. The Police Federation actually came out today and said, after Operation Tempera has been put in place, which is where the armed forces are on the streets with our police, the Police Federation have said that this is an indictment of how badly their service has been run down, that we now need the military out on the streets with the police to try and keep order. So that was done on Theresa May's watch as Home Secretary. The forces have been, the police force has been run down, but nobody's suggesting that she did that on purpose or that she is responsible for this attack. The people who are responsible for this attack are the Islamist terrorists who carry them out. And notice the word that I used there, Islamist. Now, I'm hearing a lot of people on radio, on media, on the call-in shows turning around and saying, oh, this has nothing to do with Islam. You cannot blame Muslims. Well, I agree. I don't blame Muslims, because most Muslims are decent, peaceful, hard-working members of society. I rank a number of them as friends. But these people are not, they unfortunately, they use sections of the Quran that they have perverted to their own ends to actually justify what is going on. And the sooner that people actually accept this, that the terrorism is rooted in a perverse interpretation of the Quran, then the sooner we can get on and deal with it. If you listen to some of the experts, I'll quote Majid Nawaz now, actually, from the Quilliam Foundation. Majid is an ex-Islamist who founded Quilliam, which is an anti-extremist think tank, and nobody knows better than how people are radicalised than Majid. He calls this the Voldemort effect, in such that if you do not speak its name, hopefully it won't come and hurt you. We have to realise that there are people taking the Quran, twisting the scriptures and turning it to their own ends. And the people who suffer the most from this are decent, law-abiding Muslims, because when the mainstream media come out and say, oh, you can't blame Muslims, you can't do this, what they're actually doing is feeding the Islamist narrative. We all know that most Muslims are not involved in this, but don't blame Muslims for Islamists. Let's get this straight. Let's get the distinction in line. Let's take these people, let us look at what they do, and let us not hide over the fact that they are taking their inspiration from their perverted idea of the scripture. And also, I've heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, you know, if we didn't go into these countries, if we hadn't have interfered, then there wouldn't be a problem." Well, again, let's get this straight. The Islamists of today are using an ideology that started in the 19th century with the Deobandis and with the Wahhabists. This was actually refined in the 1920s by scholars such as Nabhani, Qutb and Maududi. After the fall of the Ottoman Empire, the last caliphate, they put down the outline for the new caliphate. And if our ill-advised excursions into the Middle East in the last 10 or 15 years were responsible, then why did we have hate preachers like Abu Qatada, like Omar Mohammed Bakri, like Anjem Chowdhury? Why were they out on the streets in the 1980s and 1990s preaching this hatred before 9/11 even happened? So please, foreign policy hasn't helped, but please don't go around blaming UK foreign policies for this, because that is not the reality.